Call meeting to order.
Jenkins?
Here.
Harden?
Here.
Vaughn? McKinley?
Here.
Pearl?
Here.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next thing that we have on our agenda this evening is public comments, and we have one. Mr. Sullivan, you have the floor.
Thank you, sir. As I've suggested to you guys before, I'm not a public speaker by any means. I'm just a concerned taxpayer. And my concern is DCDC, the amount of money that we pay DCDC to do a job that's not getting done in Clinton, it's not getting done in Wapella, and I don't think it's getting done in Farmer City. They pay almost $100,000 for economic development per year. You guys, your portion is $13,000. Would you like to know how much they have in their assets? Do you guys know before you give them out any more money? Do you guys know how much they have in assets? Pardon me?
You're free to go ahead, sir.
Okay. Well, their assets for 2011 and 12, without owning a building, were $212,000. That's what they have in assets. In 12 and 13, they have $246,000 in assets. In this coming year, 14, they're supposed to have $290,000 in assets. And they just keep coming to you guys and asking for more money. You know, how much is economic development actually helping us? You go here to Bloomington. Everybody looks at Bloomington. They've got 3 Casey's stores. They've got new hotels. They've got brand new restaurants. And this year, they're in a budget crisis, and they're afraid they're going to have to borrow $40 million. $40 million they're going to have to borrow to keep up with their economic development. They also, in the next fiscal year, they're going to have to borrow $7.3 million. That's what their deficit's going to be. In 5 years, it's going to be $15 million. That's what the economic development has done for a big city like that. I'm not against economic development. I want as many businesses as we can get. We need small businesses like this Farmer City Auto Body. You know, where they hire 2 or 3 guys, and the 2 or 3 guys come and eat lunch in town, and sometimes they get supper before they leave. That's the kind of business we need. I know Larry's worked hard on getting Casey's here. But has anybody done a study to see how many people are coming into this town? Are we just going to take money away from Huck's? You know, has anybody done a study to see what we're going to actually do? Is Casey's going to create $1 million worth of new business? Is that why we're trying to get, is that why DeWitt County is trying to get a new Casey's? Hell, Bloomington's got 3 Casey's. And they're losing money every year. I was shocked when I found out that Roostoffer has $246,000 in assets. My small suggestion to this council would be to take your $13,000, put it in the bank, and loan it out locally. That would be my suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. No other public comments. We move to section 1, the consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it. Call.
Jenkins?
Yes.
Harden?
Yes.
McKinley?
Yes.
Pearl?
Yes.
Motion carries.
There being no unfinished business, we move to section 3, new business.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 934 adopting the 2015 budget.
I'll second.
Let's move into discussion. And I would suggest Larry, although I don't have a piece of paper, Mr. McKinley's got his on the front hand as well. Larry put together a list of questions. I'm looking at that right now. It's Mayor Jenkins, City Council member, looks like this. We'll begin there. And if any time councilmen like to address any other issue, please feel free to interject. Question was raised about the mowing at various city locations, one in specific, the South Park Recreation, and then the answer to that question, mowing is incorporated under maintenance service, which is shown as $7,470 expenditure, slightly higher than the proposed amount. Now, what page is that on? That would be in Parks,
No, it's under recreation.
Recreation.
9.
Top line on page 9 under contractual services, maintenance service, building property. The actual expense for the year that we are closing out on was $7,470.
Are there any questions to this point or answer? Number 2, a question pertaining to the income of the school resource officer as a line item in revenue. The answer given is a line has been created that does identify SRO reimbursements from the school district, and I would assume that's in the new paperwork here under, not goal.
Revenue,
General fund revenue.
about halfway down.
Got it, SRO reimbursement. Any questions or comments to that concern? Question that was raised by the city council was, can a copy of the revenue from video gaming be provided? The answer given is a printout is in the packet. The reports does run 2 months behind. This was a piece of paper. It has highlights on it that highlights the 3 places in the community that are, at least at this time, was currently collecting. We have an additional, what are the additional? We have Hux now, and
Hux is the new one.
Hux is the new one.
Correct.
So we have a total of
4. When the city clerk went to the website and pulled this out, Hux had been reporting it.
Hux is, they're in operate, I mean, they are
Yes,
operating.
yes.
So this is our portion to the far right.
Correct.
This one is that particular, that's a month, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I wasn't too far off when I
No,
said that it was about 1,000 a month.
You can go online and get these, right?
Excuse me? Yes.
It's matter of public record. And thank you, Cindy.
Any other, sir? Question number 4, does the crossing guard receive an increase similar to other employees? The answer is the crossing guard is considered a contractual employee, not an employee. This is created by City Manager Dan Olson. Currently, the crossing guard line item is assessed at the maximum amount. Help me understand that. Assessed at the maximum amount, because I think the concern that we had was we would like to see her.
Get a raise.
She should have a pay increase
Yes.
of some kind. I
If
don't
you
know.
go to this sheet, Mayor, you'll see that we are taxing for a crossing guard.
Got it?
We're taxing at the maximum amount allowed by law.
Okay.
And actually, I believe the general fund is helping to offset because the amount that we get is less than what she makes for a year.
Okay.
So currently, the general fund is helping to offset what she's making.
Okay. I just think some way she needs.
Well, then continue to help me understand. If the general fund is helping to offset the discrepancy, then can we increase and then have the general fund offset
The increase.
the increase?
If you're saying that you want to give her an increase, and I don't know what Ruth, do you know what the rate off the top of your head is an hour that she?
It's not by hour, she was, Mr. Olson had figured it out, that she doesn't even do a time card anymore, it's $433 a month is what she gets, which is way above the minimum wage, and it's also, from what her time sheets were, it's also because she's contract, she doesn't pay any taxes on that money. As far as, we don't have to pay taxes either.
We don't do any withholding, or she has to report it.
Right.
You send her a
Right.
1099 at the end of the year.
Yes.
And that is for what, 9 months?
Mm-hmm.
She just made the comment to me, I don't know how many years she's been doing it, that she's only had one pay increase.
Yeah, she was substantially lower than minimum wage before because she was a contract employee. And Mr. Olson gave her this pretty big increase 2 years ago. So,
I remember that.
but they took it out, we're paying her more than what we're getting from that fund. And currently, we aren't paying any of it from the general fund yet because there is a small amount in the fund balance that we're dwelling on.
I believe that was what, around $30-some hundred a year. Right. I think,
Her total amount?
yeah.
Well,
That's what the line item was, or,
Yeah, whatever it's.
I mean, in the future, if that's what you want to consider, we can try to figure out, break it down to what she gets approximately per hour
right?
and bring that back to you, because, until you know what that number is.
Or you could change her back to being a regular employee, like she was years ago, before it was changed to contract.
What, 15 hours a week? How many hours a week?
But she doesn't report that anymore, I have to go back to.
My guess is it's an hour in the morning and an hour in the
Yeah.
afternoon. That's my
3 hours
guess.
a day or not.
10
She
hours.
doesn't do it at noon either, so.
I don't think she does it at noon.
No, she doesn't.
No.
My concern is I don't know what it is per hour on her. I know she's out there in the wintertime, she's out there in the rain. She's got a big responsibility, and, I just.
So you want us to try to figure out what it comes out to on an hourly basis and then bring that back to you?
Yeah, I don't think she should just be forgotten about, just because.
The raise that everyone else got was up 1.2. Was that the cost of living? was
Last
up-
year?
No, this year. Was there a 1.2 increase?
Well,
Is that
there
right?
hasn't been an increase yet.
No,
It hasn't been
if it were
calculated.
passed, did you do what cost of living, correct?
Yes,
And that was about 1.2?
somewhere in that area.
Okay. Well, we'll just make that as an action point. If you can determine what her hourly rate would be, bring that back to us, maybe we can make a decision at a later date on that, so. Any other points or questions or concerns about question number 4? Question number 5 was, I don't know if the question was, what is the EAV? What is the EAV? And then a printout of the EAV is in the packet. This recent year's EAV can be found in the back of the most recent audit as well. And this is the sheet that looks like this. You can look at it. Are there any questions?
And if you look at the back of the audit, towards the back, they were all different. But you'll see that there are like 4 or 5 different years of the EAV listed in there. So it gives you history. I think, Lord, I think you asked for a couple years worth. And so if you go in there and look, we pulled out different years of audits, and that's where we found several of them.
Do any of the councilmen have any questions or any comments on any other part of the budget? Would the gentleman be interested in going page by page, or?
I'm fine.
Sir?
Those were questions that got answered there.
Okay. Call it?
Harden,
Yes.
McKinley,
Yes.
Pearl,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
motion carries.
I'm making a motion to go in executive session, personnel to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, and/or performance of specific employees pursuant to section 2C-1 of the Open Meetings Act 5 ILCSC.
Second.
Call it?
McKinley,
Yes.
Pearl,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Harden,
Yes.
motion carries.
We are in executive open session.
I make a motion to approve ordinance 935, amending section 51.172 of ordinance 846, wastewater service charge.
I'll second it.
Discussion?
During the budget session, the mayor had made the comment that we needed to stop the bleed. And so went back and looked at that, and the wastewater sewage treatment plant actually, it's not metered, so we don't know what the flow is going into the plant. But with the combined sewers, we know that we're treating millions of gallons of water out there. The rate for sewer is considerably less than the rate for water at the base rate. So what I did is, and then I computed you a sheet. The difference between the sewer rates and the water base rate is 4.12%. But unfortunately, the people are still feeling the sting from the electrical rates. With 2 different funds, something does need to be done. So I made you an example of all the different percentages here to bring up different rates. With the ordinance that we have, I'm recommending that right now we do 3%. Now that doesn't bring it up to match the water rate at the base rate. It's still lower than the base rate on the water, but it closes the gap. Do you see the sheet that shows the different percentages?
The sewer rate increase should be highlighted at the
Now, if you want to bring it up to the 4.12 to match the water, that's your decision. That can be changed in this ordinance. But I just know that in City Hall, we hear all the time about the electric rates and how people are still feeling the sting from that. This would generate approximately $30,000 a year to help in the sewer fund. So that will help offset.
So you're still down considerably.
If we were down this year, were we down last year? I wasn't here last year when we did this.
Yeah. The last increase,
Both of them were somewhat discussed, but with the raise in the power.
the last increase, official last increase was done by an ordinance. Trent Smith issued a directive, I believe, in 2009, to raise the rate off the COLA.
Where does compared to other cities? Is there any way?
Well, I passed that information out several months ago. Burns Clancy had done a study of all the communities in central Illinois, and I made copies of that and passed it out. We were in the middle then. So that was with water and sewer. So, you know, it's going to move us up the chain, obviously, but I don't think it's going to be anything dramatic.
Where are we making our difference up at in the loss?
Where are we making the difference up in the loss?
Yeah, where's the, you know, if we're losing money, where's the difference coming from to balance the budget?
And in the
You
fund,
just have a less money to work with in the sewer fund. There's separate funds, there's less income coming in on the sewer side, there's less money to make repairs. Now, one big expense that you have out the sewage treatment plant that we're trying to get an increase from is that chemical has to be treated out there because of an agreement of the discharge into Salt Creek. So we're trying to get an increase in the rate on some reimbursement on that. Odofos is put in there for odor. So we're trying to get some more funds out of that.
So the minimum sewer rate's gonna be $11.15 per month, is that what it is?
Yes.
Minimum charge with no usage.
And currently, it's $8.58. Is that right?
Yes.
$2.57.
Now there again, you can use any of those rates that you say.
This is just a flat rate. It's not based on usage, this report.
This is for the base.
This is
Yes,
the
it'd be
base.
like a minimum, just like on your water bill. I had that memo from years ago.
Any other discussion? Call it.
Pearl,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Harden,
Yes.
Kinley,
Yes.
motion carried.
This moves us to section 4, other items, the city manager report.
I had a meeting with the Champaign area city managers last week over in Champaign. Got to meet a lot of those fellows that I've never met before. And a topic in the street department, we're looking at removing the island out at Route 54, going out to Currahee Plaza. Been in contact with IDOT and believe that there's going to be a dramatic change in the flow of traffic out there with the new proposed cases. So that's in the engineering part of IDOT right now. Other than that, I have nothing to report. I figured it'd be a big meeting.
Any questions to the city manager for his report? Any non-agenda items and other business?
I got a couple things. Anything else been heard on the MOPS?
Yes, last week I talked to our senator, and they were going to look into it. They actually couldn't believe that rag mops could make it from the sewer down into the lift station. I told them that we had all the documentation that we needed. We could even have them go talk to citizens. So they were going to make some phone calls. I believe that was Thursday, Pat. I haven't heard back.
Also, our Welcome to Farmer City signs,
Yes,
we're gonna get
some more dirt.
something.
Yes. Like to do a little landscaping around it, but that wasn't allowed.
Anyone else? Just like to make a public thank you to to you gentlemen for supporting the Easter egg hunt this year. There was over 230 kids that were registered, and with all the parents and other kids out there, we had, I mean, there were just a ton of people. It was a great event, a great day for it. So, have we been in contact with the Kiwanis about the installation of the new South Park? The new park equipment that's going to be placed out
The
South Park?
Kiwanis hasn't come to us.
Okay, I'll reach out to them and that needs to be scheduled.
And I did inquire about some funding for the painting of the pool. I don't know how that has gone. They were going to try to do an email vote situation, so I haven't.
Although I can't speak to the final, I believe that, I do believe that the Clark Foundation is going to cover the expense. They're going to cover $5,000.
That's what my request was.
Yeah, so I believe they have the votes. So, entertain a motion, unless there's anything else, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Call it.
Jenkins?
Yes.
Harden?
Yes.
McKinley?
Yes.
Pearl?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen.